Thank you for joining us for this fourth and last episode of Remarkable Life with Rett Syndrome for 2020. We really appreciate every one of you for watching these episodes, leaving a comment below and sharing these videos. Our aim for Rett Syndrome Awareness Month each October is to share our experience with Rett Syndrome. So we really appreciate that you're here with us and sharing these videos. In this last episode, we talked to our remarkable Rett Syndrome families about how Rett Syndrome has changed them as a parent, how they've gone through the tough times, where they've found support, and the best advice given to them.
What has it been like for you as a parent? Hard, exhausting, kind of sad, but eye-opening, educational, and it's taught me to appreciate a lot more.
It's been exhausting and it's been very lonely, because I resigned from my job to be her full-time caregiver, which means her dad is working a lot of extra hours. And of course the kids go to hybrid school right now through the pandemic, but normally go to regular school. So not loneliness because I do have Aaliyah, but loneliness from things that Aaliyah and I would be able to do if she were a typical child or if we didn't have a pandemic. But it's also been rewarding, like seeing the kids, the big kids, learn different levels of patience and seeing us grow as a family with strength and pride, and seeing her overcome every obstacle. I can't say that it's all bad because it's not. It's also so rewarding.
For me as a mom, learning that my daughter has Rett syndrome, it's a challenge. There are days, moments where my mind goes through all the what ifs of the things that could happen, and there are times when I just break down crying. And I don't know if that will ever change because will probably always be what ifs or what can happen. So I've had to learn to be very intentional about looking for the little moments that bring joy. And it's really important that I actively try to keep my frustrations and my fears hidden from my daughter. Not because I want to appear to be some superhuman, but because my attitudes, my emotions really do affect her, and she picks up on them. And if I'm calm and if I'm smiling, even if it feels fake to me, that's what she sees, and so she is much more likely to be calm and smiling.
I feel like we've led two lives, one before Rett syndrome and one after. And so the way I approach parenthood now is just enjoy the moments, enjoy what's in front of you. Don't try to look for the vacation or look for the weekend. Just enjoy your day and make everyone around you happy. So it's changed how we parent.
Yeah, I think I said, you don't have this expectation, and it's devastating at first, but then you ease into it, and then it's not so bad. And in fact, it's maybe even better than you thought it was going to be, because so many neighbors and so many friends are
Just so helpful.
So helpful, so supportive. Like, you know, she loves a teenage girl down the street. So, you know, I think it's opened up the possibilities for us. We're more interesting people because of this. So,
yeah, it's changed how we parent for sure.
Yeah.
We don't care about small misses. We just are more about making everyone happy during the day.
Yeah.
What's it been like as a parent? Having a child with Rett syndrome has presented a lot of challenges for me as a parent. She's my only child. So I think the thing with being a parent to a child with Rett syndrome is that for me initially it was all about helping Abigail. So I became very, I suppose, driven and a little bit almost panicked. Like I had to do everything now and I had to find every solution and get every therapy and get everything going straight away. And everything was about doing everything straight away for my child. And there was this enormous grief at the loss, my perception of the loss for Abigail, all the experiences that she may not have, or the challenges that she would face, brought about a lot of grief. I think then that moved and I had to grieve for myself because I am a parent to a child that is different, and that means that my parenting experiences, what I will experience as a mother, will also be different. And so there is a bit of a grief and a loss there as well of all the things that I won't have as a mum and as a person. And I think that it's been a really challenging but important process to start to work through that for myself.
As a parent, Rett syndrome has been hard. I think that parenting doesn't come with a guide, you know, with a manual, and neither does having a child with a disability. One of the things that we've realized over the last couple months is that no one in the world knows how I feel better than my husband does as her dad. And so I think if you let it, it's something that can really impact your marriage in a negative way. But if you work, you know, hard at it, it's also something that can create such a special bond between you and your husband, because you will get each other on a level that nobody else will.
Busy. I feel like we have so many emotions going on anyway, but really what happens is we lose our emotions. We get caught up in trying to live the day-to-day. We get caught up in the calls to schedule appointments and to call insurance to fight a battle or anything else that might happen, sending results from one doctor to another because something got lost in translation. It's amazing how busy we stay. You know, Savannah has 3 telehealth therapies a week right now, and because they're telehealth, that's a little bit easier, but that means 3 days a week I need to set aside an hour of time, and then she might have another appointment. Friday she had 4 appointments that she had to go to. You know, she has a multitude of specialists. And so we just stay busy and we forget our own emotions. And I would say that's mostly what life as a parent of a Rett girl is like.
How have their siblings reacted to life with Rett syndrome? When we found out, I took our son to go skiing in Western Colorado. I took the day off of work and we went skiing, and on the way back I told him the reason I took him.
No, on the way there.
Oh. Do you want to come over?
I'm over here trying to figure out this.
Okay.
Okay.
On the way back, I told him why I had taken him out, the story behind that, like why I had taken him out of school that day, why I had stopped, and told him all about Rett syndrome and how his sister would have it and how things were going to be maybe different from how he saw his friends with their siblings. kind of gave him what I knew about Rett Syndrome. And when I got done talking, he was like, "Are you done?" Like he was pretty much disinterested in the whole thing. And I asked him, like, "Did you get all that?" And he's like, "Yeah, Tilly has Rett Syndrome." So it's one of those things where for us as adults, you know, you don't picture this for your child by any stretch of it. You don't go into having a kid and be like, "I want, you know, this sort of condition for my child." But I think it's nice to see our son, who's just way more flexible and adaptable than us, and the way that he responds to it is not like, this is earth-shattering or life-changing. This is just all a part of life for him. And it's just something that he'll not, like, I can't even explain to him how his life will be different than his friends, because, like, he just doesn't care, which is good. So I think he's been very supportive. Obviously, he has his own needs and his own emotions that need to be met. But I think overall he's going to have just a great childhood and a great adulthood, just because he has a sister like Tilly.
Sister.
Whoa, oh.
The initial, I think, was difficult, but they have adapted to it very quickly. Their siblings love her very much, and I think they give her a little something extra since knowing what is going on with her.
Aaliyah's brother and sister, they are 13 and 14, and they absolutely amaze me. They show so much compassion and motivation to just make her the happiest they can. And if I could give them a special award for that, I would, because they deserve it, a golden award of some sort. They've learned so much patience. They're so honored and proud to take her out and go for walks and things. So they all make me proud.
Kaya and Olivia are 11 months apart. So in some ways, Rett syndrome will always be a part of Kaya's life. And it is bittersweet. It sucks for us as parents to know that she'll always know what Rett syndrome is and what Rett syndrome, does to her sister. But we also know that she'll grow up knowing that her sister is just her sister, and she's already learned to love Olivia for who she is. There are things, her sister having Rett syndrome does impact her life. There are things that sometimes mom can't go to that dad has to do, or sometimes we just, parties we can't attend to because of Olivia's, health. But, we really try to take into consideration that Kaya is her own individual person and she has her own needs, and luckily for us, there's 2 parents in the home, and so we really try to divide up our time between both of them, because it is hard. Olivia requires a lot of attention, and at such a young age, Kaya already knows that, and that is hard for us, but they were made to be together, and they just get each other, and it's really beautiful to see that.
He's still figuring it out. He just turned 5 years old. But he, quite frankly, he asks for a healthy brother or sister that he can play with. And so for him, he is still reacting in that, I wish I had a sibling who could play and do the normal things with me. But in some sort of amazement, he also takes the time to sit down and read her a book. Even though he can't really read, he sits down and tells her what's going on in the pages, and he brings her toys, and he shares his food with her. He's just an incredible brother. And so in some ways, being a sibling to a Rett girl has made my son the most selfless, giving person he can become.
What has helped you get through tough times? For us, our faith has really helped us get through the tough times. I'm sitting here talking to you guys because of the grace of God. There's really no way that we would be here a year from our diagnosis day without His faithfulness and His grace to our family. But I would also say that what has really, supported us through, all the tough times is our community. And for us, our community is our families. We're very blessed and lucky to have, such supportive family on both sides. And, all of my aunts and uncles and my cousins and my husband's aunts and uncles and cousins, they're there when we need them, and we would not be here. They were there to pick us up when we needed to be picked up, and for that, we're both very grateful.
Remembering that everything is temporary is my motto. So while we may have a bad hour, a bad day, a bad week, that too shall pass. Also, the rettsyndrome.org, all of the support groups on Facebook, people I've connected with over social media, all these people have become what I call my extended family, and they just get it. If I need to let it all out, they get it. Or if I need to praise Aaliyah for something that maybe a typical child may not be praised for, they're right there clapping along with me. So seeing all of that, and just my community and extended friends and family here locally for us come together and support us has been amazing.
Oh, focusing on Savannah's amazing attitude. It does not matter how difficult it is. Savannah is happy. And Savannah just continues to try. She's my superhero. She does not know how to stop. She only knows how to move forward and how to be a stronger, better person.
What has helped you get through tough times? My husband, my other children, and her enormous smile.
100% recommend seeking help. The best thing that I have done is find a psychologist to talk to, someone that I clicked with, that could help me work through my grief at my daughter's diagnosis. And that has been hands down one of the best things I ever did. Looking after myself has been challenging, but I finally found something that worked for me. So I have discovered the gym and weightlifting, which I have used to manage stress and also to look after myself, as well as the time that I look after Abigail. It can be very hard as a parent to a child with Rett Syndrome to prioritise your own needs. It's very hard, particularly in the early days, I think, of a diagnosis, when you're so overwhelmed and you're panicking about trying to do everything and get everything in place, and you're trying to learn so much so quickly about this condition that has suddenly appeared in your life. Definitely getting professional help and seeking counselling, and not being scared to express how vulnerable and scared you feel, because this is a big deal. It's a big deal when you get a diagnosis like this, and it's okay to be lost, and you will find your way. So counselling, antidepressants, fantastic. Take them if you need to. Don't be ashamed. Do it. You have to look after yourself, and that includes your mental health as well as your physical health.
Where have I found support? I want to give a special shout out to the San Antonio BAM Moms group. All these ladies have a child with Rett Syndrome, and they are just amazing women that have really helped me through, over 2 years since I met y'all. So thank you, ladies, for all the support.
I think it's really nice to have friends in Colorado who have girls with Rett syndrome. I love that I can ask people advice. One of the moms actually, through her ABA therapist, gave us our ABA therapist. But yeah, just little things, little idiosyncrasies of the Facebook group. Another mom had her 2-year-old acting out, and she mentioned, "Oh, did you try AAC?" And ironically, we were trialing it the next day, and immediately it seemed like Tilly's behavior changed.
In terms of support, it has been surprisingly a huge support to me to talk to other parents through Facebook on the Rett Syndrome Support Forum. I never realized that people who I have never met, complete strangers from all over the world, could provide as much support as they do. They are going through the same journey, living with the same struggles, and having the same questions as I do, and they provide answers and insight and hope and encouragement where most people cannot, who are outside of the Rett syndrome world. They're pediatrician, therapists. They have limited head knowledge of Rett syndrome, but they really don't have a way of providing accurate answers to my questions and thoughts. So the support forum on Facebook has been a tremendous help. But honestly, my biggest source of support comes from God. I believe that none of this strength, none of the patience, none of what is getting me through each and every day and helping me to be the mom that my daughter needs me to be comes from me. I full-hearted believe that it all comes from my Lord Jesus Christ, and yeah, I feel like I would have a much harder time processing this diagnosis and just waking up in the morning and smiling during the day. I would have a much harder time doing those things if it weren't for God equipping me with what I need to get through the day and be who my daughter needs me to be.
I found the online Rett communities to be a complete lifeline. Being able to reach out to a group of people that have an understanding of what you're dealing with, being able to have people to ask questions to, and just people who get it. Being able to post at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still awake, my child's not sleeping, just that, I suppose, companionship, that understanding that we share, that we all know what you're going through. You don't have to. There's a relief in not having to explain everything about Rett syndrome. To be with people, even in a virtual sense, that get it is really supporting. I found the charities and associations that work with Rett syndrome have been an enormous support as well in building a community and offering advice and support. The Rett Syndrome Association of Australia, Reverse Rett in the UK, the Rett Syndrome Research Trust in the States, they're all amazing. There's a lot of great information and a great support and a strong community out there.
Our families have been an awesome support, and so that's always incredible. But some of the best support we have found is in the Rett community itself. Everybody is so loving and open and helpful, and I have just bonded with a couple of the other Rett moms with young girls, and it's been the biggest support because you know that you can complain to them and they're not going to judge you, and you know that you can be excited about what your kid is doing and they're going to be happy for you. They understand what you're going through. So I'd say the Rett community is really, in some ways, our biggest support, and in some ways it's our families who have endless love, endless care, and endless compassion for us.
Where have you found support? Oh, the Rett parent group. is probably my biggest support. Even if I'm not, even if I'm not saying anything, just reading about what others are going through and seeing all the accomplishments and also seeing the struggles and help and learning and understanding, this support group has been huge.
So community is really important. It doesn't have to be family, it doesn't have to be church, but you need to find community to not survive, but to thrive living life with Rett syndrome. It's not something you can do alone, and I don't think anyone should have to do it alone. And so just find that community, find the people who get you and will accept you and your child. I know that's hard to find someone who understands, all the ins and outs, and even family. They may not totally understand the ins and outs of living life with Rett syndrome every day, but find the people who will love you and your child, because you can't do it alone. Yeah.
How do you juggle school, therapy, appointments, other kids, work life? I'm pretty lucky at the moment that I can just be looking after Abigail, but I am trying to study and do other things on top of that. Just be as organised as you can.
You just do it. I mean, quite frankly, when you are busy, you just do it. I think everyone says, it's amazing that you do that. I couldn't do it. Well, yeah, you could. If you were faced with it, if you had all the challenges in front of you, you would make the time. You would do everything you need to do to take care of all your kids and the rest of your family. Sometimes the dishes stay in the sink. That happens. You just have to take care of your family and your kids the best you can. And you have to remember to give yourself a little me time. Even if that means taking a late night shower just to get away from it all, you do that.
I used to love singing. I was such a carefree person, such a free spirit. I didn't keep a planner in college. I didn't do that in high school either. But I have realized that in order to be the best I can be for Olivia and for Kaya and for my husband is to be organized. And so I put all of our appointments in my calendar. Then the second biggest thing that has helped is asking for help. I used to think that I had to prove myself as a special needs mom and that I needed to do everything by myself in order to show people that, yes, I do have it. I can do this. Rett syndrome is not greater than me. But you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Ask for help. Reach out to your circle. And then the third advice would be, don't overschedule yourself. I found that out very quickly. You will burn yourself out. Therapies are important. Appointments are important. But make sure you are leaving time in between for yourself and for your family.
How do you juggle school, therapies, appointments, other kids, work life? I don't know. We just do it every day, one foot in front of the other. I am seeking help. I'm looking into getting a home health aide to help us with Summer so that we can focus on school and have extra hands during her appointments because they are every day.
I mean, I don't even know if we do juggle it. I think it's just break things up into 30-minute increments and then hopefully you can get through all that stuff.
Yeah, we try to talk about the next day at the end of the day, and we're like, we have this. And then at the beginning of the next day, we're like, we have this. And we check in with each other, and we're working from home, so it's just very collaborative. And we have a nanny, we have therapists coming in and out, so we're trying to just communicate with each other and just move through the day as best as we can.
As I mentioned earlier, I resigned from my job, so it's still hard. Taking work out has definitely helped, but we spend several times traveling places. The big kids, when there's not a pandemic, have sports, but we just make it work. If it's not myself, it's, maybe family or catching rides with their friends or scheduling appointments around each other within the same, like we go to a children's hospital, so they will kind of coordinate. So with the help of others.
I'm blessed to be a stay-at-home mom. My husband's a firefighter in the Air Force, so he is gone for 24 hours at a time, 24 on, 24 off. So I pretty much manage all of Parker's therapies, appointments, meetings with the school. I try to coordinate with my husband's work schedule for important appointments or IEP meetings, things like that. But for the most part, I just schedule when I feel like it's a good time for me and Parker.
What is the best advice given to you about life with Rett? That it never ends, so take a break. It is a marathon and not a sprint. Don't feel like you have to get it all done at once. Take a breath. If you need a day off, take a day off. And that is the absolute best advice I have ever heard.
Love and treat your child, not your diagnosis. And I believe that goes for any diagnosis, but definitely Rett syndrome because it changes so much.
There was a mum that said to me, don't be afraid to be your child's person. And by that they meant it's okay to be that mum that gets in there and that your child, it's okay that your child needs you so much. I was beating myself up initially thinking, oh my God, I need my child to be independent. I need other people and stuff. But it's okay to be their one person because you know what, they need you and you know them better than anyone.
They're in there. They will show you. They talk with their eyes. And there is light.
I hope that parents that see this going forward know that they're not alone out there, whether they have a son or a daughter with it. And I hope that they know that reaching out for support is just a big help. To have connecting with other families is a big help.
Have help, I think, is the biggest advice. We've had an amazing nanny. We have a Manny who is amazing. We have a teenage girl down the street. I think without having breaks, without like going on a date, when we go on a date, it can be mediocre restaurant, but we think we're on vacation. So having babysitters and that extra care to watch your children for a couple of hours really does just completely change our mind setting.
Celebrate the inch stones, the milestones, whatever you want to call them. Don't stress about anything you can't change, and love your child as much as possible because they do feel it.
The best advice I've been given would be to take it day by day. In the beginning, I used to spend hours thinking about how to mentally prepare for what was to come. And in doing that, I was missing out in enjoying Olivia in the present, enjoying Kaya and my husband in the present, enjoying time with my mom and my sister and my brother. You don't live life when you are worrying about what's to come. And so the best advice I've been given is to take it day by day. And sometimes you have to take it hour by hour.
What has Rett Syndrome taught you? Rett Syndrome has taught me patience. It's taught me so much about my own strength and my own, my own determination to help my child and also others. Rett Syndrome has taught me all about the world of disability that I, to be honest, I didn't really know much about disability until my daughter was diagnosed with Rett Syndrome. And it's made me such a better person. I understand so much more now about the issues of a whole part of our community that I wasn't really considering, being able-bodied and yeah, I just didn't really think about the challenges of living with a disability in our community, and now I do. And now I'm really passionate about it. It's taught me complete, unconditional, undying love. It's taught me how to take such pleasure in such little things. I will never not appreciate anything that my daughter can do. It makes me value things so much more.
Well, Rett syndrome has taught me patience. I'm typically an optimistic person, but this is continuing to push my optimism, and I think that Rett is teaching me to be the best shining light I can be for other people, because all we can do is stay happy and move forward and live in the best life that we can live.
I don't know yet. I think that it has taught me that life really isn't easy, but you can have sunshine if you believe in it.
Never take the small things for granted. So I say that because, I have a son and a daughter that are older. Never thought about not being able to find shoes to fit a child, clothes to fit, diapers to fit. So if anything, it has taught me to appreciate everything, even if it may seem as minute as a grain of rice. Always appreciate everything. Rett syndrome has also taught me that I have strength, and my kids have strength, and Aaliyah's dad has strength that we never knew we had.
Rett has taught me to just be grateful for everything good in life, because you never know what can happen literally like that. So just be thankful, live in the moment, show love, be kind.
Enjoy the moments when they come.
Yeah. The strength of our family.
Yeah, definitely.
Just how close our family has become. We probably wouldn't be this close. Our marriage wouldn't be as close. I think she's anchored us.
Rett syndrome has taught me that it's okay to ask for help, that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to reach out when you need it. It has taught me that it really does take a village to raise a child, and that it includes a child with a disability, and that you don't have to prove yourself as, this all-encompassing superhero special needs mom, because none of us are that. Some of us seem like that on our social media maybe, but we're not. It's okay to not know what to do next for your child. It's okay to be scared for your child. It's okay. Rett has taught me that you spend so much more energy trying to hide all these things from those who love you, when you can just open yourself up and be vulnerable and really just embrace today for what it is and live today with those who mean the most to you today. Don't wait for tomorrow to do that.
What are you most grateful for? I am really grateful that I have my daughter to hug every day, that she is here, that she is alive, and that she smiles at me from morning to sunset. I am grateful that she does not have a terminal diagnosis, and I'm not going to lose her tomorrow. I am grateful for all the love that my little girl is teaching me and gives to me every single day.
I will always be grateful for everything that she can do. Absolutely.
Before we had a diagnosis for Tilly, is one of those things that I knew that she was going to be different, and I knew this could either be a strength for us or a weakness, and it was a decision that we would make. It wouldn't be something that, you know, she would give us or a doctor would give us or like other people would tell us. So, you know, she has allowed us to be a lot stronger than we would typically have been.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that I'm Abigail's mum. She's a wonderful part of my life. She has taught me so much. She continues to teach me so much about myself, about the world, and yeah, about her. She is my best teacher. She will tell me when I get things right. And I'm really grateful for the experiences of learning about Rett Syndrome, learning about different ways of communication. Yeah, she's just made me a better person all around.
What am I most grateful for? I'm most grateful for Parker's tribe, the people that support him, follow his journey, encourage him, celebrate with us, pray for him, people that just want to see him happy, and it makes me happy that he brings joy to so many people as well.
I am most grateful for the person that Rett Syndrome and Olivia have allowed me to become. I have been forced, you know, to speak up when she needs something, to be confident in my decisions as her mom. I'm grateful that it, you know, taught me how strong I was. It really opened my eyes to the relationships that I have, and I'm so grateful for all those relationships. And I'm really grateful that, you know, in the midst of this last year that we've gone through our diagnosis, that God has always been faithful and loyal to our family. He's always provided and opened doors. And Rett, you know, life dealt us Rett, but God made a way through the storm. And so I'm really grateful for the Naomi and the mom and the wife and the sister and the daughter that Rett has allowed me to become.
What are you most grateful for? Where we are today. That's all I can think about. And tomorrow's another day and another challenge, and we'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you again for joining us for every episode of Remarkable Life with Rett Syndrome for 2020. I am so proud of these families for sharing their lives with Rett Syndrome with us. It's not an easy thing to jump on a video and be so honest about something that affects us so deeply in so many different ways. Please note that Rett Syndrome is different for everyone. There is a lot of stuff that we didn't cover in these videos because it wasn't our story to tell. Reach out with your story. We'd love to hear from you. If you are a new Rett Syndrome family or are looking for more information about Rett Syndrome, I will leave some links below in the description. Feel free to post your comments and questions below. We love to get the conversation about Rett Syndrome going not only in October, but throughout the year. Don't forget to share these videos with your friends, on social media, with the postman, anybody that you come across in October. The more people that see these videos and learn about Rett Syndrome, the better. Thank you again so much for joining us back on Remarkable for 2020. I'll see you next year.